Sinners, we are gathered here today. What's that? You can't see me behind the podium because I'm too short. Gotcha. I will come around. Hello, boys and ghouls. No, I can do that better.
Hello, boys and ghouls. It's your old pal, Kanada here.
Can't keep that up long. It might lead to my death. Ooh, spooky. So, we are gathered here today in this house of, let's say Nega God, to talk about a movie. And what movie am I going to talk about with you, the audience, through this magical box of camera, TV, internet stuff? Mandy. Oh, ba da 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 da. Oh, Mandy. Pretty good movie. So Mandy. It is a movie starring one Nicolas Cage, and was probably the apex of the Nicolas Cage renaissance that's been going on for the last 10 years or so. It got big acclaim, lots and lots of viewers, some memes, we'll get to that. And I never got around to seeing it until now. And this was a vote on Blue Sky and my Patreon. And this one won by a country mile in about 5 minutes, even though I was going to give it like 15 or 20. This was immediate, this is going to be the movie I watch. So I did. So, what is Mandy? It is basically, you know those movies like Hobo with a Shotgun and Freddy Freaker and Psycho Gorman? That kind of ilk of modern day grindhouse-esque 80s throwback films. Mandy is the art house version of that. The extremely pretty, deliberately slow-paced art house equivalent. 80s throwback, synth soundtrack, gory as hell. But while the other ones are doing the rock and roll, hard, fast-paced routine that a lot of those 80s grindhouse homage movies will do, this one's doing the art house thing, which is both a good plus and a negative. Depends how you do with slower movies, how you deal with incredibly slow, deliberate pacing. And honestly, I could have sped things up a bit for the first half of this thing. I don't want to go into the plot too deeply because this is one of those movies that has a plot that has so little to it that if you summarize it, you will spoil the entire thing in about a sentence. Suffice to say, it's about the titular Mandy, her husband Nicolas Cage, aka Red. Red, you get it. And stuff happening that leads to an incredibly violent, blood-soaked rampage across the Midwest in the 80s. That leads to one of Nicolas Cage's best performances in probably a while. And it's the thing he's been doing lately to where he'll take a concept or a movie that they got him for, and he'll run with it, because he hasn't done it before exactly. Like, he did Renfield a few years ago. That was basically, hey, you want to play Dracula? Okay, I'm going to play Dracula. Ooh, spooky. Or they talked him into the Five Nights at Freddy's knockoff, Willy's Wonderland. And the bit there was, hey, Nick, you want to do a movie where you don't speak? Cool. Excited head nods. This one. How do you want to try? You want to go for an Oscar with maybe 20 lines max? Got it. There you go. This is one of his best performances I've seen in a long time, and he doesn't have much dialogue. The first half of this thing is with him living with his wife. It feels very real, very lived in. Incredibly slowly paced, but it feels realistic while also extremely dreamlike. There is some unstated but clear symbolism in both what's happening, her a little bit of backstory you get, big ass scar across her face that's never given explanation to, and then what happens in the exact middle of the movie, and then Nicolas Cage is our main. Well, he's our protagonist of the whole thing, but the thing switched to him completely at that point. And he gives a really good performance where he is mostly dealing with incredible grief and incredible rage. There's a sequence during this where he is in his underwear, drinking straight vodka, and screaming for about 3 or 4 minutes straight, and it's really good. You feel like this is a man acting and going through all the massive sorrow of what happens in the middle of the movie. Is believable. It works. And then you don't get much dialogue past him beyond angry screaming and wild-eyed looks for the rest of the movie. At the middle of this movie, there is a hard cutoff point to where we change gears. First half, real slow, real deliberate, dreamy atmosphere, haunting. Thing happens in the middle. Second half, we have hit the top of the roller coaster, and straight down, screaming rage, blood, gore, gross out sequences, weird LSD drug trip stuff. It just goes and goes and goes hard. Also, it's a tiger for no reason. Until we get to our ending. And throughout this thing, good performances. Our villains are pretty good. There's a bit in here where you see our villain is both incredibly upsetting and a pathetic piece of shit in the middle and near the end, which is just done with just perfect dialogue and great acting from this guy, whose name I don't remember. He's good, though. You see this dude and you get him immediately. The stuff in the middle with him and his cult is both realistic and upsetting and cartoonish. And it's kind of a problem with the movie that I do have is that, again, first half, very different from the second half, to where they feel like two separate movies with that middle attachment. Both are good sides of the movie, but they feel a bit disjointed. The pacing is a little weird because of it. Not mood-breaking or anything, but it is something to note. And I will say that if you get through the first half of this movie, you're gonna get rewarded. The payoff for this thing, which you have to go through all the slower paced stuff of the first half. The payoff in the back half is really good and is helped by the slower build up from the first half. So it is worth going through. This is not one I probably would revisit, but what's here is very good. And second half has the weird tone that I brought up the other movies, the comparisons points, like Hobo with a Shotgun and whatnot, applies more for that second half, because you start having weird visuals that fit better with those, like the Cheddar Goblin, and a tiger, and some reason a character decides, like, hey, let's drink, says, I'm already coked out of my mind, let's have some LSD. Wow. So, stuff happens. It's worth watching. Good performances, great payoffs, good movie. Just, you might have your phone out for the first hour while you're waiting while you're kind of waiting for the things to build up. It takes a little while. It's good, payoff's good, takes a little bit. If you're more of a fan of the slower kind of dramatic build-up kind of movies and dreamy atmosphere, you'll probably dig that first half more than I did. Also, very pretty movie. Visually, as you can see from this recreation of a location in the movie. Visually, stunning movie. Pretty, dreamlike, atmospheric. And the second half is a nasty LSD drug trip to hell with some beautiful spacey visuals. Some weird animated bits that kind of feel out of place. The Cheddar Goblin. Fun stuff. Mandy. Worth a watch. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, Mandy. Starring Nicolas Cage, oh Mandy. I don't know why I'm still singing. It took me an hour to get VR working. Meta, go fuck yourself sideways. Aside from all the other reasons to go fuck yourself sideways. Current events are a hellscape. Da-da-da-da, like and subscribe, watch my other videos. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Bye.